and we're going to have another big announcement in 2 weeks, unrelated, but something that's going to have a profound effect on the things that we're talking about and have been talking about over the last 2.5 years. It's going to be something really incredible that'll take place over the next 2 weeks.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, why is FBI Director Christopher Wray stonewalling the Department of Justice as they attempt to further investigate why nobody ever brought charges against Hillary Clinton for her private email server, and the scandal that exists there is so much bigger than many people understand. We're going to cover it here on this episode, plus a whole bunch of other news. I hope you guys enjoy. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. I always like to begin by saying thank you to everybody who's hit that subscribe button, especially to everyone who's got us past the 200,000 mark for subscribers. You guys are awesome. If you haven't, please come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications, and also hit the thumbs up button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. So, here we are. We still have nothing new on the Q boards, but there is a lot of information that continues to come out on a daily basis, and when you start looking at things President Trump's saying and juxtaposing that against previous Q posts that we've gotten and what's actually slated to be coming up here, we have an incredible set of events ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe it's going to start somewhere around the 4th of July. So, with that being said, before we get into the full story about Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, who's basically stonewalling the DOJ and the Inspector General, who are trying to investigate the origins of not only the investigation into President Trump, but the origins of how the decision was made not to prosecute or further investigate Hillary Clinton as with regard to her private email server. So we're going to talk about that, plus a whole bunch of other news that's happening today. So I hope you guys stick around and enjoy. Before we get started, though, I always start by saying thank you to everybody and come here. Look, the information that you guys are seeing on this channel is not going to be shared far and wide by Twitter, unfortunately, by YouTube. Unfortunately, they don't want to get this information out there. They want to put authoritarian information in front of you. Authoritative. But it's basically authoritarian information. MSNBC, CBS, CNN, ABC, Vox, big media corporations. That's the only news that you're going to get. And we talk about the news here that they wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. So this is why you guys are coming here to check out this channel. So I always encourage everyone to watch these last videos, get caught up, share them on your social media, get the word out that way. And don't forget, if you're scratching and go, what is QAnon the Great Awakening? You're going to want to watch this video. It tells you everything you need to know about QAnon the Great Awakening. But before we get into that, I would like to start by covering something that has just come up as of late. So here is a story that just came up talking about how convenient Christopher Wray's corrupt FBI loses notes from meeting where corrupt cop Peter Strzok was told China was hacking Hillary's emails. This is a real story coming out of the Gateway Pundit, which try searching any term and Gateway Pundit on Google News and have a good laugh at seeing all the fake news that they put up, and they don't give you one Gateway Pundit article. I thought that was pretty funny, but you could still find them if you actually search for it. It says here, though, corrupt deep state FBI has misplaced emails that would prove that Peter Strzok was lying to Congress last year about knowing about Hillary Clinton's emails being hacked by China. Imagine that. So here's what this story is summing up for us all, that apparently the FBI is claiming to have lost very important emails that would show this former FBI agent, Peter Strzok, who was in charge of one of the biggest hoaxes in our country's political history with this Russia investigation. He was one of the head investigators at the FBI. He, who actually had his lover, Lisa Page, who was an FBI lawyer, top ranking, who was also overseeing this, and they also both said to one another how they hated Trump and how they hate the people of this country who shop at Walmart, apparently, and how they despise and loathe Trump so much that they think Hillary Clinton should win 100 million to 0. But that's getting off onto a side. Let's get back into what this story is talking about. It's talking about Peter Strzok, who apparently was told that China was hacking Hillary's emails, and there was some sort of documentable evidence to show this. Now, why would they be covering this up? Well, the FBI is in a very tough position here. And I only say this because there are some real world consequences to the actions being taken here. And what I mean by that is quite simple. And I talked about this a little bit in the last episode where we covered the fact that President Trump was calling out the FBI and saying that they have no leadership and that the director is protecting the same gang that tried to overthrow the president. And this is a quote from Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch. And how does this all wrap together? Well, quite simply put, there is a very precarious situation that Christopher Wray is in right now. Now, you think it's just simple. Yes, turn over all the documents, let the DOJ and Attorney General Barr start investigating and indicting these people. But the FBI is going to play the Stonewall game for as long as they possibly can. Why? Because the crimes that were committed were so deeply entrenched within the top levels of the bureaucracy in the FBI that it could have ramifications across our entire justice system. Meaning, we may be able to indict Hillary and get her for the emails. Now, trust me, I know this isn't an ideal world, guys. I'm just trying to lay this out in plain and simple terms for you guys. And then you guys can decide what option sounds better to you. But if the FBI starts releasing all of the information that proves that Hillary Clinton had a private email server, which was subsequently hacked by the Chinese, which was given to the Chinese practically, and the Russians and others like the Saudis, then we start opening the Pandora's box that is the Clinton Foundation. And we start looking deeper into the fact that there were several of our biggest foreign adversaries wielding extreme influence in our country for a span of, I mean, you can go all the way back to the first Bush almost with this. But you're talking about foreign adversaries wielding huge amounts of influence inside of our political offices, from the president to the Secretary of State to you name it, for the last few decades, right? And that's a Pandora's box that the FBI is trying with their best and, I'm sure with great intentions, as they say, the best intentions are lay the path to where. But, this is their thought, their thinking. Their thinking is, if we allow this investigation to move forward into Hillary Clinton, then, and this is why they thought they were all safe, by the way, then the consequences would be that we open up Pandora's box. Everyone realizes that the Clintons were being bought and paid for. Then it turns into who else was being bought and paid for. And there's definitely a domino effect there. And we all know it already through what we've learned through the Q boards. I mean, let's just go back. Early as March this year. Here's excuse me, a little Freudian slip there. Here's QAnon. Definitely not President Trump because he's Q+. Here's QAnon saying explaining everything to us, right? So first of all, you have this tweet from John Ratcliffe where he's saying that Lisa Page, who is the FBI lawyer, top FBI lawyer who was in charge of this investigation of Trump, saying and talked about an insurance policy against President Trump getting elected with her little lover boy, Peter Strzok, saying, Lisa Page confirmed to me under oath that the FBI was ordered by the Obama DOJ not to consider charging Hillary Clinton for gross negligence in the handling of classified information. Yeah, there you go. So the FBI is told to stand down by the DOJ, which is being run, obviously, during that period of time, I believe, by who? Loretta Lynch, the person who met with Bill Clinton on the tarmac, okay? So, take that. The tarmac meeting, days later, James Comey, no charges are appropriate. So look at that right there. We already know Loretta Lynch met with Bill Clinton on a tarmac to discuss grandkids and golf and pardoning and exonerating and not pursuing Hillary Clinton as a matter of an investigation into her private emails in exchange for, I don't know, possibly maybe some Supreme Court seat or some high-ranking position in the future administration. Yeah, probably. Anyway, James Comey, no charges appropriate. How did HRC obtain special access programs on her personal servers? Access to SAP classified information is recorded in a local access register or in a computer database. Where are the records? Identity of specific special access SCI on the server provides a target roadmap to review logs, access logs to that specific program. What process and or security clearance will be required to walk away terminal clear with special access program SCI material electronically? Did a foreign state gain access to the server? Did a foreign state gain access to the SAP special access SCI material on the server? And then it gives this Hill.com report talking about how the FBI is contradicting Trump's claim that China hacked Clinton's private server, email server. Now, why would they be contradicting that? They're contradicting it because it proves that we were run by a bunch of criminals who were selling us out to the highest bidder on the global market because they didn't care about our country. They don't care about you. They care about getting rich and going and having their island trips on Epstein Island, doing who knows what in underground bunkers with kids from Haiti, allegedly. So this is where we're at, people. This is really where it gets terrifying, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And it says, if the top FBI chain of command for the mid-year investigation were all fired, does one conclude the investigation was not conducted properly? Probably. Does one conclude all statements made by the FBI think no hack of servers, as single example, could be false? Yeah, probably. Take a moment and think about what that means. Treason, Q. So this is the national security aspect of it. We keep looking at these things and go, oh, well, why aren't we sending SWAT teams to go raid the Clinton compound and to take him in front of a judge and have a trial? Well, quite simply put, these people were such incredibly evil criminals that they committed crimes that put themselves in positions where if they ever got caught, that would basically be the start of the destruction of the United States as a country as a whole. And I hope I'm not being too dramatic here. And if I am, please let me know in the comments. I don't want to be too bombastic or alarmist, but look, we're at a point in our country's history now where we're at a crossroads and there's a fork in the road here, and a fork in the road is a better example than the crossroads. We're at a fork in the road where we can take one direction where we just lay it all on the line and say these people committed these crimes and they are guilty, and we are going to continue to pursue them until they are all found guilty and they are all put in prison, and we can clear this out of our government and start over, which I'm in favor of that option personally. Or we go down the route of we play it safe and we don't want to start another world war and all that stuff, which it looks like a pretty good option too. Okay, so I'm just putting this in front of you guys so that you understand the gravity of what probably is going through a person like President Trump's head when he's making decisions about all of this and looking at it in its entirety. I don't think that maybe I'm being a little too dramatic when it comes to the outcome of what happens if we uncover what we already have basically established through the parallel construction that we've done here on the QAnon boards and the other work that we've done in investigation and investigating all of this and uncovering facts. And the fact patterns show that there is a high probability that the Clintons were involved in a corruption that is on such a scale that it could have huge ramifications against our nation as a whole, as it pertains to our national security and so on. So that to me is what the big story here is, and none of the mainstream media wants to touch it. They're terrified of this story because there are these huge ramifications to it. But the reality is, to me, I think the world would respect us more if we went and we took care of these people. Now, they might not like it, especially since people like the Russians and the Saudis and the Chinese were the ones who were allegedly, funneling hundreds of millions of dollars into these corrupt politicians' pockets to affect their influence on our country. So they might not like it that much. But you as an American citizen, or you as a citizen of the world, no matter where you're listening to this from, let me ask you this question. Would you rather have them upset that they failed in their attempt to illegally subvert the democracy and the Republic of the United States of America with money and influence and blackmail and extortion? Or would you feel better if we just swept that all under the rug and pretend like it never happened and pretend like the Obama administration never hired Dennis Montgomery under the purview of John Brennan to go in and to take a super surveillance program from the NSA like the Hammer, HAMR, as uncovered by WikiLeaks and Vault 7, and then have it brought to the White House so that they could effectively spy on the American people at will with no predication whatsoever in the most illegal fashion you could ever imagine. Would you like that all swept under the rug? And the fact that the Clinton Foundation funneled hundreds of millions of dollars into their coffers while, making these crazy policies, or the fact and the Uranium One deal, and go dive deep into that, or Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden conceding the whole South China Sea to the Chinese, giving them their 9-dash line and their fake island military bases in the middle of it. So they practically own the whole South China Sea now, and there's no free waters there as it once were. And then his son gets $1.5 billion investment from the Chinese state-run bank on this, basically days after he capitulates to them, or when he's in Ukraine arguing that the prosecutor who's trying to investigate his son for the corruption needs to be fired, or else he's going to withhold taxpayer funding to them. So he took our taxpayer money and told the government of Ukraine, at the time, President Poroshenko, I think he's a chocolate factory guy or something. This guy literally, he was the biggest puppet you ever saw in your life. He was formerly a chocolate magnet, like literally like a chocolate. Anyway, Poroshenko, he goes over there and tells Poroshenko, you better fire this guy who's investigating my son, and we're not going to give you the aid that the U.S. promised. Would you rather sweep all of that under the rug, or would you rather bring it all to light? And if you do want this to come to light, then start writing to your politicians, write to your senators and your representatives, start putting it out there, encouraging them to push the DOJ to file these charges and to complete these investigations, and to not relent. We cannot relent against this evil that has infiltrated and tried to take over our country. And not only that, then they try to stage a coup. And now they've basically established that they have the means, with regard to their connections to the intelligence and the deep state and the intelligence community, to go after all of us in every way imaginable. So I don't know. I'll leave that for you guys. Okay. Here's another story I wanted to cover here on 8chan. Now that's where Q's been posting. And of course, this is what happened. There was apparently this, obviously this tragedy at the Poway synagogue. And the person who did it apparently posted some stuff on 8chan right before they committed the crime. It was deleted within 9 minutes, but there's been an FBI search warrant that was issued for anyone who commented on what he had wrote, which is, to me, look, they're already going after us hard. And we already know that they're going to try to go after 8chan because they know that's where this information, a lot of it's coming out of. They're going to try to find out who's doing these things when it comes to posting certain things. All I can say is this: there are two ways to look at it, and I'm looking at it both ways. There's the way that the FBI is obviously working to uncover people who are doing pretty bad stuff on the 8chan, but then they're also trying to get the information of what you would presume are anonymous individuals commenting on an anonymous board online, but now they're trying to get that information, and that can be used as a paradigm to try to go after Q eventually. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that story for you guys to kind of look at. What I thought was funny is somebody was going through the affidavit, and I didn't get a chance to read the full affidavit to see if this is exactly what was screenshot, but they say that what they did was they screenshotted the post from the Anon board, and then they printed out, and then they scanned it into to the documents, the affidavit for the search warrant. And here's what I thought was hilarious: the Anons immediately pointed out that these Anon marks have the U in parentheses next to the name. Now, what that means is that you were the one who made the post, which means that the FBI who were on these boards. Now, this could have been given to them from another Anon who screenshot it. Who knows? But I'm saying hypothetically, you could almost say it's possible that these the individuals who took this information were not very bright and were commenting on that board that they were taking information from. But that's neither here nor there, because there's not much proof either way. I'll leave that to you guys, of course, in the boards. Now, I talked about this story yesterday. Trump was accusing the New York Times of a virtual act of treason for U.S. cyber attacks against Russia, for a report on U.S. cyber attacks against Russia. So let me retell the story quickly. A couple seconds here. The New York Times reported on a story of the U.S. ramping up cybersecurity or cyber attacks against the Russians and their power grid in some sort of response to what's been going on with their relationship with Germany and the new natural gas pipelines that are coming in. Well, isn't it fascinating how we have a story like that, and then we have this coming out right after where it says Moscow warns against baseless accusations over tanker attacks. Now, they were the ones. Now, why is Moscow coming out against this baseless accusation thing? Because we've accused the Iranians of being the ones who planted the mines on the sides of these oil freighters. Now, why would they do that? I think the best answer I've heard so far is they're getting destroyed by the U.S. sanctions against them. So their only hope to make more money is to basically do what they did, put these mines on these oil tankers, which will then in turn spike the price of oil, which will make them more money because that's one of the main ways they make money in that country. So when Moscow comes out and says that they're warning against baseless accusations over these tanker attacks, and then you see this story come out very shortly thereafter, you can see that we're in a global conflict that has just not come to the surface yet. Tens of millions in South America losing power almost instantaneously. Now, did or possibly could that have had something to do with Russia? Well, I don't know. Gee whiz golly, gee willikers. You think that they would do that as a message to the United States that we're interfering and apparently cyber attacking their power grid so they knock out tens of millions of homes and businesses in South America? I wonder. I don't know. That might make sense. I don't know. You guys tell me. Duh. I hate to be so crass about it, but this is so important that we address these issues as they're happening, and I think that's really what the point is for all of this. So really, there's so much stuff here, and then if you just, here's President Trump teeing it up for us, saying, when will the fake news media start asking Democrats if they are okay with the hiring of Christopher Steele, a foreign agent paid by the Crooked Hillary and the DNC, to dig up dirt and write a phony dossier against the presidential candidate of an opposing party? If Republicans ever did that, the Democrats, there would be all you know what to pay. It would be a scandal like no other, and of course it would, but this is why the president's pushing us to go after this harder, because this is going to be, I think, one of the key issues that wins us this election in 2020. All we have to do is tell the truth about what the Democrats have done for the last 8 years at least plus, and then going into other administrations. So all we have to do is tell the truth about what they've done, and that will be how we win. Because the American people, when they see this, they're not stupid. They're going to see this and realize that there are criminals trying to run this country. And when criminals try to take something over, most Americans, I'm going to go ahead and say the vast majority, will say that we need to stop this. And it's exactly what happened in 2016. And even though big tech's coming after us, even though the big media corporations are coming after us with their fake news, and you have the corrupt politicians who are attacking us every day, we will persevere and we will win a re-election for President Trump in 2020. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe we'll ask him to stick around for another 4 years after that, just to rub it in their face. Maybe we'll write up a new constitutional rule or something, but that would be ideal. That's where I'm going to go ahead and leave it off. Also, I'm going to leave this linked in the comments or in the description. President Trump outwits Chairman Xi Jinping ahead of G20 summit. It's a great read. Just came out from the conservative treehouse, but it talks about the fact that President Trump has maneuvered the United States into a perfect position for negotiating with China, and how we've leveraged basically all of these different things against them. It's an incredible read. Not a long one, but it is very informative. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that one in the description for you guys to check out as well. But that's going to be it for me. I want to say thank you for watching this episode of Just Informed Talk. As always, come here. If you're scratching your head going, what is QAnon? What is the Great Awakening? I encourage you to watch this video. Share these videos on your social media, because like I said, the algorithm's not suggesting them here unless something's changed that I don't know about. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. Also, leave your thoughts, theories, and insights below, because I want to hear what you guys have to say about all of this. A couple other ways you can help out the channel. Come over here and find me at justinformednews.com, the official website for Just Informed Talk, where you get links to all the different Q stuff, links to different news websites, breaking news, and of course the latest videos from the channel here. And don't forget to come check me out over here on Just Informed Talk on Twitter at JustInformYou. That's a cool place where we can have a conversation, and I love talking to you guys over there, so you guys should go check that out. I also have a new channel up, Just Informed Podcast. You guys should go watch the first few episodes. New one is coming very shortly. I know I keep saying it. You guys are probably like, when is it coming? When is it coming? It's coming. Working on it right now. So we're going to get that up soon. And of course, there's a couple other ways you can help out the channel, both financial, Patreon, crowdfunding website, patreon.com/justinformedtalk. Link will be in the description. Come here, click this button to become a patron. You guys are what keep this channel alive, especially in the face of what's going on with YouTube and this whole, the new thing is now the Vox adpocalypse, and next week it's going to be the, BuzzFeed adpocalypse, and next week it's going to be the, CNN adpocalypse, and they're just going to keep coming after us basically to try to shut us down because we are the news now, as Q says. So when you come here and you hit this button to become a patron, you support this channel, you are what keep it alive, and you are what make it so that this channel will always independently be able to remain alive regardless of what happens with these big tech companies, because they can't take away everyone's free speech, but they can try to defund it. But that is neither here nor there. Also, I have a GoFundMe set up if you want to make a one-time or anonymous donation. Please consider donating if you can. I really appreciate your support. We do a segment at the end of each one of these episodes called God's Grace is Greater. We talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater, and sometimes I just like to share this verse for anyone who's out there hurting or going through a tough time or having trouble reconnecting with God or remembering what our relationship is to the Lord and what we should look to the Lord as. And I just have to share this with you because I hope it connects with you guys in a way that touches your hearts and encourages you to persevere and to look to God and to pray and to put good into the world and to share that with your family and friends and loved ones and get them involved and tell them about the greatness and glory of God and how they're saved and how their lives on this earth are worth so much more than what the world wants to make them believe. So I share these words, and it talks about how the Lord is He's the good shepherd for us. Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I lack. He lets me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He renews my life. He leads me along the right path for his name's sake. Even when I go through the darkest valley, I fear no danger, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Only goodness and faithful love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord as long as I live. Amen. That is how you need to think about God and how his love for you is so real. And if you're sitting there on the fence and you're like, man, it's been a long time since I prayed, or it's been a long time since I thought about God and had that connection, well, now's the time to reopen it. And all you have to do is say a little prayer, and that opens the door, and that lights a little fire in your heart. And before you know it, if you just keep praying and keep looking to God and keep living a righteous life and doing all the things that we're called to do by God, then you'll see that light that's lit in your heart will grow, and it will shine like a bright light into the world, and then you can help others come to God and help them find their salvation. So that's what I'm calling on you guys to do. That's my call to action for you guys, to go out and show those in the world that God loves them and that they are saved. So that's going to be it for me. I want to say thank you for watching this episode. Obviously, come here, click the big red subscribe button if you want to help out the channel, and hit the bell for notifications if you want to get notified. Also, there's a like button. Hit it, punch it, smash it, bop it, twist it. I don't know. It's the like button. It's a thumbs up button. If you guys like this content and want to see me make more, please go hit that like button. But thank you so much for watching this episode of Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed, and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.